Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. My name is Sonja and today I have put together a video of 20 of my favorite trash to treasure dollar store Christmas crafts. These are easy and cheap DIY ideas for your holiday home decorating. I hope you enjoy this video. Don't forget to hit the like button, leave me down a comment of your favorites, and let's get right into it. Thanks for watching. Up with a thrifted item, and I'm using some black acrylic paint, some cornstarch. Thrifted item is this deer, and I got it for $10. Was a little bit high, but I really like the size of it. And then I also picked up some Dollar Tree deers to go with it, so 2 of those glass ones. So the first thing that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to mix up the paint by adding cornstarch and black acrylic paint together. I want to create a textured paint, a little bit thicker consistency than what chalk paint would give you, because I really want the brush strokes to show up, especially on this big large deer, to almost give it a look like the fur looks on him in real life. So that's what I was trying to recreate with this textured paint. So I start off with really adding equal amounts of paint to cornstarch, and then you'll see how thick your paint is and how thick you want your paint to be. I did end up adding a touch more paint just because it was a little bit thicker than I wanted it to be. And once I reached the correct consistency for my liking, I end up painting the whole thing, and I am using a bristle brush just because, like I said, I want to really show those brush strokes. Because the paint was so thick, I did not need to do it 2 coats. However, I did really want to get into all the nooks and crevices, so I am using a smaller paintbrush for that, just to make sure I cover all that blue sparkle that this deer was painted with. Now I am also going to be doing the exact same thing with these glass deers. Now this the coverage wasn't going on as well as with the other one, so this did need 2 coats. And this is what they look like after 2 coats of paint. If you are following along on my home channel, you probably saw that a lot of my new decor is black, and I wanted to incorporate some of that black into my Christmas decor as well, and I think these deers are a perfect addition to that. For my next DIY, I will be using black and bronze chalk paint, as well as these small little ornaments. I have seen these at Dollar Tree and at Dollarama, and I'm also going to be using some jute rope, or you can use twine. Now my ornaments did come from Dollar Tree, but like I said, I've seen them at any dollar store. And then I was going to use some sanding block too, but at the end I never ended up using it. So the first thing that I am doing is giving it a coat of a bronze spray paint, and then I'm going to add a little bit of the black spray paint to it as well, but not covering it fully. I am covering it more with the bronze, and then I'm just going to do little sprays of black on them. I wanted to create more of that aged look on them. I am really liking the rustic color, less rustic ornaments this year to go with some of the black accents that I will be using in my Christmas decor. So now I'm going to use that twine and cut it up to the length that I need it to be. I am going to be putting this on my large fireplace upstairs, so I wanted to make sure that it fits. So if you are doing this DIY yourself, you might want to measure out where you want this to go and cut the twine to that size. And then I'm taking more twine and cutting it into smaller pieces about 2 inches. I'm going to use that to tie the ornaments to the other twine. Now I'm creating a loop at the end so that way I can hang this up, and I will be doing this on both ends of this rope. And I'm going to trim the piece hanging over from the loop. And then once I have my loops all set up, I'm going to start by adding the ornaments, and I'm tying the rope to the ornament, and then I'm tying the ornament to the rope. And I repeat this for all the ornaments, spacing them out somewhat evenly. You will be able to move them around once they are on the rope anyway, so it doesn't really matter if you space them out evenly right now. You can always adjust them later. If this is your first time stopping by my channel, welcome. My name is Sonja, and on this channel you will find tons of home decor DIYs, from seasonal to DIY projects around the house, as well as just a general DIY decor. So if this is something that you think you might enjoy and you are enjoying this video, I would encourage you to press the subscribe button and notification bell so you get notified when I post new videos. I am starting my Christmas decor DIYs now, and I already posted a mega one. If you've missed it, it will be linked at the end, so go check that one out. That one will give you a ton of inspirations for your DIY decor. I just love the way this garland turned out, and I think it's going to look so good with my brand new cedar garland that I had just purchased at HomeSense. For my next DIY, I am going to be making over or upcycling my wreaths. I have had these wreaths for many years, and it was time to give them a new life. So I have some greenery that I was considering using, like this bunch of leaves, and then I also had some eucalyptus leaves that I was thinking of using, and then I also picked up some of these Christmas picks from Dollar Tree just recently, and definitely was thinking of using those. And then I also have these berries. Now I was trying to find black ones at Dollar Tree and I couldn't, and I did not want to go to Michael's and spend the money, so I will be spray painting these with the black chalk paint. I am giving them a light coat, so some of that red will show through a little bit, but I really like the whole look that it gave it. So if you don't want any of the redness to show, make sure you give it a full coat of spray paint. I am going to be cutting these this greenery picks from Dollar Tree into pieces. So I'm just taking each branch and cutting it off, and then I'm going to strategically place them all over the wreath. This is what I'm doing with all of them, and just spacing them out somewhat evenly throughout the wreath. I did have a pretty good pair of wire cutters, but my mother-in-law had borrowed them and I haven't had a chance to get them back from her. So I was struggling cutting these a little bit, but nevertheless, I did get them cut using scissors and smaller wire cutters. This was such an inexpensive makeover for these wreaths. It literally cost me $6 altogether, because I've had purchased everything at the dollar store, and some of the items that I did use, like the berries, and then I actually decided to use some pine cones as well, I had on hand. So I wanted to show you what it looks like, this wreath looks like before I added the berries with all the new greenery that I have added. It just made it look a little bit more fuller than what it was before. And now I'm adding 3 branches per wreath, because I just wanted a touch of it without overwhelming it. And here is what that looks like with the berries. I think it was perfect, but I did feel at this time that I needed a little bit more, and so I went ahead and got my pine cones out and I added 5 per wreath. Now I wanted to also say that this is a bit of a high-end dupe, because I did see several of these in Home Sense, very similar ones. So, and that's where I got the idea for the ones that I had at home already. And the ones at Home Sense were $39.99. So, and mine, because I had the wreath and then all the materials that I purchased, came out to $6 per wreath, and I did 2 of these because I have two doors at the front. So here is what it looks like, and I can't wait to use it on my front door once I decorate my front porch. For most of the DIYs here, I will be using these clear ornaments from Dollar Tree. For this very first one, I will also be using black acrylic paint, gold acrylic paint, blue acrylic paint, as well as bronze acrylic paint. I will also be using some cinnamon as well as some baking soda to mix into the paint. To make the baking soda paint mixture, I will be adding 1 part baking soda to 2 parts paint. And then you want to mix that well before you paint. But before I start painting, I will be removing the tags off, as well as these little hanging ribbons or ropes, because for most of them I won't be adding any ribbon, but for I think one of them I am adding my own ribbon to them to hang them on a tree. But you can leave these, or you can add any ribbon that you want, or you just like me, you don't have to add, because I will be using them more of a table decor and shelf decor than rather on a tree. So once I have my paint mixture mixed well, and you want to mix really well so you don't have any clumps, I will proceed to painting all 3 ornaments first. Once I was done painting them, I let them dry completely before I move on to the next step. For the next step, I'm going to get my paints ready. I just add some onto the paper towel, and I'm adding all the other 3, the bronze, the gold, and the blue. And then I'm going to have each of them is going to have their own paintbrush, and I'm going to apply generous amounts of just dabs of it, but generous dabs, and then I'm going to rub it in. I'm just using my hand to do so, and I just want to cover the area, in some areas heavier, in some areas lighter, so that way there's different shades of gold all around it. And then I proceed and repeat the same process with the bronze. Now once I start at the blue, I only do it in like 2 or 3 sections. I don't actually go through the whole ornament, because I'm trying to create this colored look that some of the aged things have, like these ornaments, or even almost like the silverware, when it kind of has the different shades of blue in them, because they're so old. So that's kind of a look I'm going for.
Come on in, come on up, come on over for the merriest time of year.
So as you can see, you want the blue to be blended in well, so it's just, you just catch a hint of it looking at it. Now I repeat the same process for for the other 2 ornaments. If this is your first time stopping by my channel, welcome. My name is Sonja, and on this channel you will find tons of home decor DIYs as well as home reno DIYs. So I hope this is something that you enjoy watching, and you press that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that notification bell as well, so that way you don't miss out any of my future uploads. And I would love to have you here as part of my YouTube family. For the last step for these ornaments, I'm going to make them not only smell good, but I'm going to add another layer of texture to them by adding some cinnamon. So I add a fairly generous amount of cinnamon sprinkle onto them, and then I take a paper towel and I rub it off. I do not wait for the paint to completely dry. It's not necessary, because you had blended the paint in so well that most of it is pretty dry, and this also will help some for when it's a little moist. It helps the cinnamon to stick. So I absolutely love the way these turned out. I think they're gonna look great on my tea card. You could also, like I said, add ribbon, hang them on a tree, or just add them into a bowl with some greenery. For my next DIY, I picked up these cone-shaped ornaments at Dollarama. I think they were around $3.50. So, and I absolutely love the shape of them. I'm not sure what the name for the shape of an ornament it is. If you happen to know it, leave me a comment down below letting me know. I will just call them cone shaped, and I give them a spray paint. I spray paint them with white chalk paint. You want to have a lighter spray paint color if you're going to be spray painting, because of the next step. You want the next step to show, and the lighter the color, the more it's gonna show. So once they were all spray painted, I went outside and I picked up some dirt. Yep, dirt it is. So we're moving on from cinnamon and baking soda to dirt. My dirt was quite moist. That's how you want your dirt to be. Mine is moist because it was frozen and now it thawed out, so it was a little wet. You don't want full-on mud, but you want it pretty close. I do end up adding a little bit of water for my next one, just because I found that as wet as it wasn't wet enough. So you take the dirt and then you just rub it all over the ornament, making sure to get into all the little crevices.
Christmas times, we'll be chilling and having a good time. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the windows in the rain.
Once I was done rubbing it, I took a clean brush and just brushed off any excess dirt that I did not want on there. And then I proceeded on taking my gilding wax and adding some gold. This is called, I think it's called aged gold that I have. And I am just adding it into different spots of the ornament, rubbing it in with the paintbrush and my hand at the same time. And this will create another dimension, give it even a more of a rustic look. The key to the dirt and to this wax is to rub it in.
We'll be chilling and having a good time. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the windows in the rain is pouring. It will always be Christmas in my heart. But this year I wanna hang out with my friends and family, making angels in the sanctuary. Doesn't matter, it is Christmas in my heart. Christmas, we're gonna dance.
So I do love this look. I think it almost looks like it's old wood that was painted gold, or I don't even know, but they do give me the wood look vibe. So I repeat the same process for all the other two ornaments. Now you can be done at this point, or I went ahead and just gave it just light couple sprays of white at different sections. This blended it even a little bit more, and I just love the way these end up looking on my tree. I did end up adding some ribbon to them to hang them up. For ornament number 3, I am going to be using some flower, some back to my white clear ornaments, and then I'm also using black acrylic paint. So I'm going to give these a coat of paint. Let them, I'm not going to let them dry before I add flour to it. So I am going to be sprinkling flour onto them, covering the whole ornament with it. And then I'm going to let it dry. I will repeat the same process for all the rest of them. Now I also want to mention that you don't have to paint these with black acrylic paint. You can do brown, you can do green, any acrylic paint that you want. Once they had dried, I take a clean brush and I just brush off all the excess flour that didn't stick off. And then I take the same gilding wax and do pretty much the same idea as the first DIY. I take the brush and then I just brush it on and rub it, swirl it, rub it in. I am mostly using the brush to rub it in, but I will use my fingers where necessary. How much gilding wax you put on, that is totally up to you. This is how I like mine to look. So I repeat the same process for the other two. So as you can see, they are similar to the first ones, but yet different because the texture is completely different. And I just love the way these look. For the number 4, I'm back to using the clear ornaments again, and I'm using a glass or a mirrored spray. And the inspiration that I saw said mirror, but I couldn't find mirror, so I did buy glass, and it did work. I'm creating mercury type ornaments, so I'm using that spray as well as a bronze and a gold spray, equal parts of water and vinegar spray, and then you'll need some hair dryer as well. So I do 3 sprays of this. I did learn that maybe my ornaments were a little too big just for 3, so I do end up doing about 5 sprays. Swirl it around, and then I spray some 1 or 2 sprays of vinegar and water, and just swirl it around a little bit more, and then I blow dry it. and I blow dry it until it's completely dry. Now, if you happen to have a ton of water in there, you do want to dump that out. But the swirling is absolutely necessary. As you can see, I go back in and spray some more of that mirrored because I just felt like I wasn't getting the look that I was looking for. But I think the 5 sprays was sufficient for the larger ornaments. So once you are done swirling it around, like I said, if you think you have a lot of water in there, you might want to dump that water out before you use your hairdryer to dry it all out. And you want to keep drying it until it's fully dried in there. And make sure if there is a little bit of water out there that you do not dump it into your hairdryer. Once that was dry, I give it a spray of bronze first, then I'm gonna do gold one for the second, and the third one I'm going to do the mixture of both. So you give, I think I gave about 3 generous sprays in there, and then I swirl it around again, and then I use the hair dryer again and dry it until it's dry. I am amazed at how these turned out and how that whole mirrored spray works. So like I said, for the next one I do exactly the same thing, but for my spray paint I am using gold, and then for the last one I will be using the combination of both of them. I think these look so good. They 100% look like they came from a unique high-end store. Now for the little ends of the ornaments, I did take them all and I just sprayed them with my bronze spray paint. You can use any spray paint you want to paint them. I just thought the bronze probably would be the best choice for the ones, the colors that I have chosen to go with. And I wanted to also mention that for all of these DIYs that I'm using the spray paint color, the metallics do work better than, let's say, a solid paint color. Although I will be using a solid spray paint in the next one. So this one was almost a bonus DIY because I had one ornament left over, and I just wanted to show you a different way that you can make the same mercury glass type of ornament. It does end up turning a little different, but it's very similar. So I fill up a tray with water, then I do give spray of the glass spray, and then the bronze and the gold, but I'm also adding a walnut brown color because I just felt like it needed another color in there. Now I'm going to take that ornament and swirl it around. How much spray paint you actually spray in there depends on how well you want this covered. I did end up adding a little bit more paint because I did feel that I didn't have enough, so keep that in mind. So probably a bit more is better than less. And I think this ornament turned out very similar to the other ones, but I think the whole process was a little bit easier. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed these DIYs. I certainly enjoyed making them. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell if you have enjoyed this video, and let me know which one was your favorite down in the comments. So until next time, hope you guys have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for watching.
But you, these are the good times with you. Baby, this year.
For my first project, I have picked up this wreath ring a while back at your dollar store with more for $3. And it was a gold color, which is what I needed, so it worked out perfect. And then I also at Dollar Tree picked up the set of 3 white bottle brush trees, and then I had a whole bunch of other stuff on hand that I was thinking about using, like these snowflakes, these wooden stars, and then I also had a whole bunch of greenery, and then you will need some wire. So I will be creating this dupe. As you can see, it's $149, and my dupe for all these things that I had spent came up to $450. But let's say I used all the materials and factored those in, even though I had them on hand, this did not cost me more than $5. So like I mentioned, you need some wire. I will be using green floral wire as well as some crafting gold wire that I had on hand from scrapbooking years. So I also want to mention that this video is part of a collaboration that I am doing with my very best friend here on Facebook as well as at home, Sandra from the Swan's Nest. If you have not checked out Sandra's channel, you must go there. She is an amazing crafter. She creates some wonderful farmhouse DIYs. I will have her channel linked down below. So the first thing that I'm doing here is creating a base with my greenery, and I am using the floral wire to attach this to the wreath.
Oh, oh, oh. Da, 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 oh, oh, oh. Da, 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 oh, oh, oh. Da, 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 da. Making our Christmas memories. I've been working so much lately, I can barely find the time to sleep. Yeah, I spend my time running around, keeping people pleased. But this is my favorite holiday.
Once I have my base the way I wanted, you could attach more greenery, go up a little bit higher if you'd like. I was happy with the way mine look. I went ahead and painted these stars black. The reason why I'm painting these stars black, which is a little bit different than the inspiration wreath, is because the room that I'm going to be using this decor is has a lot of black accents, so I wanted to incorporate it into that decor. And then while those stars were drying, I went ahead and hot glued the trees to the wreath. And I'm using these white ones. You could use any color you want. I just wanted the white ones. Now I did let these wreaths dry for a few minutes before I went ahead and hot glued these houses. These are the houses from Dollar Tree. And then I forgot to mention that this is what you need as well. I did have these on hand because I had DIY them about 2 weeks ago, where I just spray painted them white to fit my decor a bit better. Now to hot glue this, you do need to use a ton of glue, and as you can see, this house does have a switch for a light as well, and that's one of the things that the wreaths from Pottery Barn was lit up. The house was lit up as well. I don't think I'm going to be lighting up mine, but we'll see how I feel about it once it is hanging on my mirror where it's supposed to be going. You want to use plenty of hot glue to attach this from top and from the bottom, and then I also used some clamps just to keep it in place while the glue was drying. So while this was drying, I went back to my stars and my gold floral wire, and I cut up how much I needed. Some I cut shorter, some I cut longer pieces, and then I'm going to hot glue these to the stars.
With you, just you and nobody else. It's so good to see you again, to see you again. Baby, this year it's just gonna be you and me. Hanging by the fire, chill. Isn't this how it's supposed to be? Making our Christmas memories. I've been longing to hold you close, forget about everyone else. Isn't this how it's supposed to be? Making our Christmas memories.
Now I'm going to go back to my wreath and wrap the wire around the wreath in different directions, and I'm doing 3 on each side. Now to complete this look, I did add some black ribbon to it, and I absolutely love the way this turned out. For $5, I could not be more happier. So what do you guys think? Like I said, those black stars and the ribbon can be done in any color that you want. But I do think that my dupe came out pretty close. What do you guys think? For my next DIY, I am using these ornaments from Dollar Tree. So I picked up 3 of them, so that's $3.50, and I will be making these light up cloches with truck ornament. Now mine aren't going to light up, just simply because I couldn't find the little things to put in there to light up. But if you can, I'm sure there are some, if you can find some, that would be great. And as you can see, these were $19.50 for one, plus $15 for shipping. Now I'm pretty sure these were glass versus mine are plastic, and but I thought I could recreate this look and come pretty close to it with these ones that I picked up at Dollar Tree. So I am painting the lids with brown just to create that wood look. You could also just hot glue some cardboard piece, a round cardboard piece to the bottom of it. And if you are doing light up ones, I would recommend that you do the cardboard, so that way you can cut out the switch on it, so that way you don't have to take the thing apart to turn the light on, because if you leave it on the whole time, it's not gonna, the battery's not going to last your whole season. So I took the tops off, and I'm just going to hot glue pieces of rope around it. This will create that open look that the other one has.
This Christmas is mine. The smell of fresh pine tree. I get down on my knee, ring in hand, and you almost choked on your mulled wine when I asked you to be mine.
Now for the inside, I had picked up a bag of this snow, and then I also got some of the miniature Christmas village pieces. I got 3 packets, and I used one item out of each packet. I think that's what I did, yes. And then one or two items, and then I also picked up miniature Christmas trees from the same set. So altogether I had spent so I think I said $350, but I actually spent $450 for the ornaments, and then these packets I spent another $4.50, and then the trees and the snow another $3. So altogether I think that came up to $12. However, I did not use all of the supplies that I had bought, and I also made 3 of them versus 1. I do think that these guys came out pretty cute. I love how they look on my rustic Christmas tree, and I do think that I came pretty close aside from the lighting of the ornament.
An angel choir singing.
This next dupe was so super easy to make, and I think it looks really great, especially on your tier trays or a little tray, any tray or a shelf filler that you need. I am using these small frames that are 2 for $1.50 at Dollar Tree, and then I also picked up 2 of these plaster ornaments that you can paint from Dollar Tree, and they were 2 for $1.50, so my total was $3. Set of 2 at Pottery Barn was $1.83. Now these are bigger, I give them that, but I still think that mine look very much the same, they're just smaller. So I took these plasters ornaments and I just cut off the hanging part, and then I also sanded it down just to round it up a little bit so it doesn't look rough where I cut it. I am leaving these the way they are with the wood. I am just flipping them around. I'm not even taking the white part off where I sometimes take it off and I flip it and hot glue it. I'm just leaving them as they are, not staining them, and then I'm going to, once the ornaments are sanded down, I'm going to hot glue them to the frame. This was such a super easy DIY and inexpensive, and I think it has a high impact. I love the way they turned out, and like I said before, I think they came out pretty close for $4.50, and I could not be more happier. I could not spend $189 on 2 pieces of art anyways, no matter what size they are. Another easy DIY that I'm going to be working on are these nutcrackers. It would have been fun if I could have found different heights, but at Dollar Tree they had them. They were very similar in height, but I don't love the way these look, so I have been contemplating about buying them and just spray painting them black, which is another option if that's something that you are looking for, just to add a bit of inexpensive decor. But I am going to be creating wood look nutcrackers to dupe these 2. These were $112. I'm not sure whether it was for both of them or for just one. I'm gonna go with that they were for both of them, so $112. They weren't much bigger than these. But after I am finished removing all this hair off of them, I am going to give them a generous coat of chalk paint. I am using a cocoa chalk paint. I think that's what it's called, from Annie Sloan. It's a very beigeish brownish paint. You can use any one that you have. I would just recommend that if you are using acrylic paint, to add some cornstarch to it. This will give you texture, and with the brush strokes it will create that almost wood look. You could also paint around their little collar or in their mouth, I'm not sure what that's called, a darker color to create the look that the wooden ones have, but I just left them as is. I did add 2 coats. Now my chalk paint was quite thick because I think it's on its it needed to have water added, but I didn't mind the thickness because, like I said, it added even extra texture. So play around with the paint until you get the texture that you want. I recommend adding cornstarch to your acrylic paint. If you don't want to do that, spray painting them will just work just as well. It will probably be a lot faster considering I did 2 coats of this paint, but you might not get the brush strokes and the texture that creates that wood look. I absolutely love the way these turned out. I think they're such an easy DIY, a great dupe. As you can see, one guy is a bit taller than the other, but I think they came out pretty close, and it cost me $4.50.
On your door, it's Christmas, outside snow's glistening.
So the last dupe that I'm going to be working on, you need I am using some of the drop cloth that I picked up at Dollarama, and the whole piece, I think it's 8 feet by 10 feet, is $4. And then I picked up these placemats from Dollar Tree for $1.50 each. So I'm going to say the 2 of these pillows cost me $8.50, but I did not use all of the backing. The drop cloth, I only used maybe a quarter of it, and I'm going to be recreating this Christmas pillow. As you can see, was $45 for one. And I'm going to be making 2, and like I said, if I take into consideration the whole piece, cost me $8.50. Now you could also just purchase exactly the same piece or even a different one, so you can flip your pillows around. So I could have made one pillow out of these 2 and had 2 different looking pillows depending on how I feel each day, and flip the pillow around. Or you can buy the same ones and just glue the same ones together. Now I am going to be using a hot glue to make this pillow. You can sew if you know how. I don't. So I'm going to cut my piece of drop cloth to about an inch longer on 2 sides. Now the reason for this is because I am using the edges of this cloth that are already sewn in, so they're thicker. So the 2 edges are like that, and then the 2 edges aren't. So that way I can create with that little bit over material that thicker edge. So once I am double cutting, and so I'm cutting 2 pieces at once, and then I'm going to hot glue this to the pillow, but only hot gluing the 3 sides, leaving one open so I can stuff it before I close it up. You can also make these as pillowcases if you have pillows that will fit inside that case. I didn't, but I did have pillow stuffing, so I use that. So I go ahead and I hot glue the thicker edges of the drop cloth to the placemats, and just line them up perfectly on both sides. For the shorter side that is cut, I am folding it over and lining it up perfectly, and then I'm going to hot glue that in. I am snipping the edge of the corner off just so I have a more of a cleaner fold. Now before I hot glue it completely shut, I do stuff it with some pillow stuffing. Now I do the exact same thing on this side where I fold it, but this time I actually hot glued the fold together first. I was just worried that with the stuffing poking through and all this stuff, it was going to be harder to do it the other way, so I hot glued the fold first and then I hot glue it together. These pillows are so great, being that they are so inexpensive if you want to keep them on your front porch for decor. That way, in case your front porch gets snowed on and things like that, it's not too you don't feel too bad if they get ruined. I've never had a pillow get ruined on my front porch, and we do get quite a bit of snow here, but it's also not so bad if they get stolen for any reason. You don't feel bad that you spend $3 on a pillow versus $20-$30 that some of these pillows cost, or in this case $45. Did not go through the full tutorial on the second one, but I did make the second one as well.
Dressed in golden red, garlands and ribbon thread.
I just love the way these turned out, and I am determined to go get a couple more and create a couple more pillows. I just love pillows, and I think it is a great dupe. Doesn't look exactly the same, but the idea behind it is obviously the same, and I saved myself a ton of money. Well, that is it for today's video. I hope you have enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure you hit that like button and let me know which one was your favorite. Hope to see you next week, where I will be sharing another dupe video, and I will be sharing high-end ornament dupes. Make sure you check out Sandra's channel, which is linked down below, and tell her I said hi if you do. And until next time, hope you guys have a wonderful day, and thank you all so much for watching. Bye. Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. Today's video is a mystery box challenge that I put together with two of my other friends that live a couple streets away from me, so we didn't have to deal with shipping or any of that, because here in Canada shipping is just costs so much money. So I put it out there, see if they wanted to participate. I really like watching these type of challenges, so I thought, well, we could do this with the three of us. So the two other ladies that are joining me are Sandra from the Schwoman's Nest, and who actually lives on my old street, and Vesna from Vesna TV. She is my sister. So I had tossed it up and pulled out names, and I ended up giving my stuff to Sandra. Sandra gave her stuff to Vesna, and Vesna gave stuff to me. So here is what I got from Vesna. And if you're not familiar with the mystery box challenge, we selected to do 5 items from the Dollar Tree, and we have to, the theme is Christmas, and whatever they give us, we can use all of it, or I mean, like for example, we can use all the dice, but we can also just use 2 or 1 of the dices. But we have to create something from all the products that we got. So here is what I got. So I got I got a really nice card from my nephews. They made it for me. It says good luck building, Sonja, and they love dinosaurs, so they made me a card, which is so sweet. And then I got some dice, a home sign, and I got a little frame, shadow box frame, a little sled, and 2 of these bowls. So I'm going to get started. I kind of know what I am already going to make with this stuff, so it's nice to because I did see it prior to we looked at it when we got together, and I was able to see and think about what to make. So I'm going to get started with building with DIY. So I'm switching to a voiceover because otherwise I'm going to say a whole bunch of stuff that don't make any sense. I already do that with the voiceover, but it's worse if I do it while I'm trying to think what I'm doing. So I'm starting off with the dice. I'm going to use 2 of them, and I'm going to spray paint them. This is just faster. I think if you had chalk paint on hand and painted them, you probably wouldn't need 3 coats. I did apply 3 coats. So while they were drying, I took these rectangular pieces of wood. I got these at, I think it was Dollar Tree, might have been Dollarama. I've had them in my craft stash, and I'm going to create a frame. So I used the other 2 dices to do the measurements, just to make sure that I had enough width for what I wanted to add. And then I had this Santa ornament. I've had this in my craft stash for a very long time, and I finally found a way to use it. I think he's just really cute, very kind of antique looking, vintage looking. So I wanted to add him to the side of the dice. So now I took a ruler and just figured out a half of this, and couldn't find a ruler long enough to do this. So I'm using my little triangle, and I'm going to just use a little saw to cut things down. I couldn't find my little cutter because my husband used some of my tools when he was doing stuff around the house, and they never made it back. So just used a little saw to cut it, which worked fine, and some sanding block just to sand it down, and then I glued the Santa to the bottom. Now I would suggest that you paint this before you glue it if you're planning on painting it. I did it after. It wasn't bad, but it would have been much easier if you did it prior to gluing it together, especially if you're going to be painting the inside as well. So once this had some time to cure, I cleaned off any of the glue that leaked out, and then I went ahead and painted it. I am going to be painting the outside with black, and then the inside with red, and then then I'm also going to use a green color for some numbers. And I'm just using acrylic paint, and it just took 1 coat. The coverage was pretty easy. If you guys are stopping by from any of the Vesna's channel or Sandra's channel, welcome. My name is Sonja. I'm not sure if I mentioned that at the beginning, and this is my DIY channel. I do have a couple other channels, like my home channel, where you can see how all of these DIYs I use in my decor, because I do use a lot of my DIYs to decorate. And then I also have a cooking channel. Right now we are into 12 days of Christmas, and I have just shared 12 different days, 12 different Christmas cookies. So if you are into baking, check that out. And if you want to know a little bit more about me and my everyday life, make sure you check out my vlogging channel. It is I am sharing Vlogmas, which is 12 days of Vlogmas right now, so there are videos there every day for next 12 days. Once the box was painted and drying, I took my foam blocks and went to write. Now you want these to be completely dry in order for it to work. And I wrote out 0 and 5 on the opposite sides, and then 0 and 8 on the other block. And then on the first block, I wrote 1, 2, 3, 4 on the sides. And on the other block, I did 1, 2, 7, 8. I did look this up to how to do it, so I have all the numbers that I need. So I'm pretty sure you guys know I am making the I'm making a countdown calendar. And here it is. I think it turned out so cute. I have seen some where the frame was made with Jenga blocks. I could not find enough Jenga blocks to build this, so that's why I use the wood pieces. For my next DIY, I took this, it's a back of the backing of a frame, and then I'm gonna use the home letter sign that I got from Vesna, and I'm going to just lightly spray the board and then just wipe it off. You can obviously paint this. I have a fan right above my head that sucks everything out, so it's just faster for me to spray paint it, but you can paint it, you can stain it, you can do whatever you want. And I'm going to cut this these letters apart, this word apart, because I want to create a home sign. And I'm not going to use an O. I'm actually going to go into my craft stash, and there I had leftover from last year, one of those wooden ornaments. I think they came from Dollar Tree, so I'm going to use that for an O. But before I move on to that one, I'm just going to finish off trimming this. I will sand everything smooth, and then I'm going to paint the letters black. And while the letters are drying, I'm going to proceed with the ornament. And I have these napkins. Last year I picked up, I think it was last year or maybe it was the year before, at Walmart. I did look this year and I did not see them. However, they did have some very interesting ones this year. But this has to be one of my favorite napkins I've ever seen. And I picked up a couple packages of them just so I have them on hand. I am not actually using them. I'm only using them for DIYs. So I'm going to Mod Podge this on. I just wanted to make sure that everything fit nicely on it, and then I'm going to Mod Podge at the bottom, Mod Podge at the top, and then I'm just going to trim the rest of it off. So once everything was trimmed off, I just smoothed the edges with more Mod Podge. And now I'm going to glue everything together, just making sure I positioned everything. And I knew that I wasn't going to be happy with just as is. You could totally leave it just as is. It's just me. So I'm going to create a frame. I'm going to use some painter's tape to do that, as well as some stain to just go over it. I just paint the stain on. I just like the color of it. I just think this would look really cute maybe in the bathroom or on top of your fireplace or in on a small shelf. For my next DIY, I'm going to use the sleigh, and I have this Noel letter. I got this, again, it was last year because I did not buy too many DIY supplies this year because I had a stash from last year and the years before. But I think I got that from your dollar store and more. And then I got the sleigh from Vesna, and I'm going to make an ornament. So I wanted to choose colors that are going to fit onto my entryway tree. I do have 6 full-size trees in my house, and a lot of them have my own homemade ornaments on them. So I always try to coordinate the colors to go with whichever tree I am working on. So I did use that stain. It's a old antique walnut stain onto the sled, and then I painted the Noel with red, and then I'm just going to add some Christmas greenery and a bell to the top, and that will be it. My entryway tree has a woodsy theme on it, and this will look perfect there. Now it's time to work on this shadow box frame. So I was trying to figure out the best way to use this. I could have made a little sign, but I decided to create a Christmas scenery shadow box type of thing. So I'm going to be using the glass as the backing, and then I'm going to use the same a napkin because I cut only one square, but I'm going to cut off the gingham sides from two of the squares, so that way I create a bit of a border, just because it doesn't fit. Just the white part of the napkin doesn't fit on it. It's a little too small, so I'm going to create a border with this this gingham design or the buffalo check design, and then I'm going to use the Mod Podge to apply it. And I'm not separating the napkin because I did not want it to have to paint the glass part of the frame, because if you separate it, then it's too translucent, so I just wanted to keep it together. So the top Mod Podge will keep the napkin all together. It's a little bit harder to work with, in my opinion, but it's less work, if that makes sense. Once everything was Mod Podge, I just trimmed the extra pieces that were hanging. Now, I do recommend that you wait in between the Mod Podge coats, like the first coat, then put your design on, and then add the second coat once the first coat dried. It's just a little bit easier to work with, but I didn't wait here, but that's my recommendation. And now I'm just going to add some little trees on here, bottle brush trees that I had on hand, just to create that wintry scene. And then I decided that it would be really cute if I made a little snowman, and it looks like snowballs all over the place. So that is what I'm going to do now. I did add some little wooden deer and some ornaments to it as well. And I think it's just a little cute thing to sit on your shelf. The last DIY that I'm going to be working on, this will last you for a while. You don't have to just use it at Christmas time, but I'm going to be using these two bowls, and I'm going to hot glue them together to the bottoms together to create a little bit of a tall bowl. And I'm just going to spray paint this with black spray paint in satin, and that will be it. It's going to be a nice bowl that can sit nicely on your coffee table with some ornaments on it, maybe some pine cones for winter decor, and just things like the roses for Valentine's Day. I mean, your decor possibilities are endless, and it's just a nice little kind of a designer dupe here, because you see a lot of these in expensive stores. Well, I hope you had enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed, and make sure you check out Vesna's and Sandra's channels. They will be linked in the description box for you, so make sure you head on over there when you're done watching this video. So until next time, hope you guys have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for watching.